This is day 1111. 1111 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Like sponsor, I will share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Please contact me directly. We very greatly appreciate it. Today we're doing Yeridea Siman Kuf Dalid. See if you came off the test. Gimel, Fisa Ein Yavish is Bata Balach V'Lach Yavish. Something which is, since the bit only takes place when the Isser cannot be recognized and identified, then dry does not become batal in liquid, or solid and liquid, V'Lach Yavish nor liquid and solid. They should Isser be because you can recognize and distinguish the Isser by itself, and the Heter by itself. Shezeu Lach, this is liquid, Zeu Yavish, this is solid. Only in terms of the emissions can nullification be effective. Therefore, a sheretz which fell into a beverage, and is cut into small pieces, which you can't fish out, can't select out. It's not both even 1,000. You can see them. It's hard. It's hard to separate them, but you can see them. The only way to remedy this is by straining. But if the sheretz got mixed up in a thick food, adoshim such as lentils, ugrisin, nimochin, and grisin is I remember exactly what it is. Some sort of bran. Which is dissolved, to have a rotav of, so it's a thick sauce. If the sheretz is dissolved or it's cut up, just like the food, and you cannot. This is a kasha vanish. So what is that? Buckwheat. That's what it is. Okay. Can't distinguish between them. Here's a bit as bit okadin lach belach. Either consider liquid and liquid, or yavish, or solid and solid. But if the food is so dissolved, it's become a soft sauce, a soft sauce, a moist sauce, not a thick sauce, but a thin sauce. That's right. And the sheretz cut off into many small pieces. There's no bit between 1,000 because the thin pieces of the sheretz, you can identify them. So it's like dry in liquid, solid liquid. Only if there's in the cooked dish also kosher meat, cut into thin strips, just like the sheretz. And you can't distinguish between one to the other. It says bittul if there's more meat than there is kosher meat than there is sheretz. Says he learned all this from the Taz and Pri Chodesh. Dal some people want to distinguish between regular shvatzim and the 8 shvatzim for which you get malchus even for the size of a lentil, which is the size also for their causing tumah. Which kasam sim pehei the elu ein mixas men betailim afilu be'elef kamobiria. These shouldn't be batel, even if it's a part of them. Even in 1,000, they should be like a birya. But sharisim, but other prohibits, some says afim nikar me'amashu shel iser. Even if you can, the substance of the iser is distinct. In nechachatiros dagos are cut into small pieces, thin pieces of shabarim, which you cannot remove, sort them out, but it's nullified. If it's not in a liquid, where in which case you can strain it. But okay, it's not true, says Osho. The Indian beria, in terms of a whole sheretz, it's by Sinkuf. We learned Sinkuf the kosher nechtam miktzasa. As long as it's cut up, ain't shem beria. It doesn't have the name of beria. Ain't shem. V'imishum sheisurim bechadosh malchus high. They have a very small shear, the size of a length of a malchus. So what? Every isser, even half of the shear is also midaraisa. Yesh mechazik svar zu chai ben sheish shil malchus, those lo shach bittul, those who want to fortify this far, which Arukh HaShulchan just rejected. The distinction when it has a shear to malchus, those lo shach bittul, when it can't be nullified. Avachatzi shear shach bittul, but half a shear is shach to bittul. Avshim minator, it means the raisa. Fishatam, why do I want to make this distinction? Fishatam shalchatzi shear, also mitam chashiv. The reason why half a shear is also, it's on account of significance. Chem of kolkach she'ev shal lokto. And since it become so mixed together that you cannot gather it up, you can't sort it out, Ein bo chashivas has no significance. That's chavas das. Ein ikar dvarim halolu. There's no source for this. The time of shir kasvu kapos mishun chazi it's the rufe. Everybody writes that the reason mechazi shir is not because it could join to make a full shir. Loim nechashiv is not on account of its significance. The bracket is talking about ain't raya. I ain't trying to do. If you want to bring a raya from there, it's not a raya. Ches v'yesh mishim kaim deo zu chayim and shvatzim shurin kadosh or shari suin b'ofen zeh. Some people want to sustain this opinion to distinguish between shvatzim, where the shear is like the size of a lentil, and other prohibited substances in the following manner. Dinei emes hatam chatzi shir mishum lechazei tzufa. Yes, it's true that the shear of the concept of the chatzi shear is because it's suitable to join up with other pieces to make out the full prohibition, full size of the prohibition. But if it's in a mixture, I feel yavish b'yavish, even if it's solid, and it's not the same type, it's batel. It's still batel. It's sufe. Therefore, it's not relevant to talk about the fact that it can get together with something else, because right now it's batel. That's from the crazy place. Bittul yavish ain't no lo barov lo b'shishim. And the bittul of solid and solid, if it's two different species, it's not accomplished by majority, nor by 60, pras, but rather by the shear of a gazais b'chilas pras. If in the eating a pras, you will not eat a gazais of the isser, it's not possible to come to a total prohibition. So therefore, the Isser Chatzishir is not relevant here. It's not suitable to join up to make an Isser Torah because it's too diffused. The Christ Bato, so it's negated, it's nullified. If there is a kazayis within the range of a chilas pras, a chatzishir is midaraisa, then the half a shir is also midaraisa. The Shai Chazit's too because it can join together when he eats the entire Kedei Chilas Pras. So therefore, this prohibited substance, which is cut into thin strips and got mixed together, even though you can distinguish it, since you can't eat a Kazai Chilas Pras, which means you can't get to the Doraisa. Even you eat 100 zaysim, you're not going to get a gazayis from the prohibited substance. So if it's nullified by the heter, they ain't got any Torah, so there's no Torah prohibition. But shvatzim where the shear is the size of a lentil, we'd assume that the shear is not gazayis b'chtei pras, but rather kadosh b'chtei pras, which is infinitesimal amount in a huge amount of time, relatively speaking. I feel Pachas means that is a Torah, so even less than a Kazai Sichei Achilas possibly it's a Doraisa, the Chazisur, because they're going together. Chain ain't a butter cloud, therefore it's not nullified at all, and that's the crazy place. If he's a B'shari Sun, that's the case in other Sun, even though you can distinguish the Isser, Yochel Lios Bittel, there can be nullification. Shem Bev Shor Lios Kazai Sichei Achilas Pras. If you can't ever get to Kazai Sichei Pras. That's nice. That's what most poskim who the yavish mino, that if it's dry, solid and solid, different species, who b'shishim, still need 60. And it's also only when this is not distinct on itself. Nikar ain't a bittul cloud, but despite the Arukh HaShulchan's best efforts, he says no. It's nikar, there has no bittul, as he will explain much later on. Vav Isa Bagamara. The Gemara says that the Achbar the Dabra, a field mouse, Ola Shulchan sorry, it is served as a delicacy on the tables of the nobility, aristocracy. Tovu Tamo tastes good. V'achbar the Masa, an urban mouse who mows is disgusting. Now, Meshech said if you put it into beer or into vinegar, Yesh Safik Gemara, there's a question why maybe it enhances the taste. In other words, they enhance the taste of the beer or the vinegar. Even though it itself is repugnant. In beer and vinegar, because it's sharp, maybe makes them a shevach. The suffix is chumrah, and the suffix is the rice. So here it's the chumrah. The zula shecher v'chometz besides beer and vinegar. It says when it fell into wine or oil or shar mashke or other beverages, talking about that. There's no question. Definitely stones down with gam. So you don't need 60 to negate its emissions. Mashich achbar, you toss out the mouse, you show you some mashke, and you drink the beverages. Only in when you're dealing with beer and vinegar, you need 60. It's not a stam gam. That's a generic mouse. Achbar the dabra enokain. But field mouse is not like that. It came to Shulchan Malachim, sorry, since the aristocracy eat it. Gantama osra shishim b'chol davar. Its taste asers up to 60, no matter what. Zed aser Rabbeinu Beis Yosef siv av ayin sham all the azipin Beis Yosef. Saying Ava Rambam perektes vavatur lo uzkul klal lo izkul klal. They mention all chiluk ben achbar laachbar. They distinguish between mice. El kasustam, they're all generically. The achbar shenava el sheichor el chometz, a mouse which fell into beer, into vinegar. Chashu chacham mishem mash bicham chacham concern. Maybe it enhances the taste. Chain so shishim levata pleitos, when needs 60 to negate their emissions. Al yain l'shema, but if it's wine and oil, vade pogam, it's certainly harmful. Kasuk the Achronim, the great Achronim wrote the Svilei in pleitosam in terms of the emissions ain't chiluk. The difference between types of mice. The Afagat Achbar the Dabra Ola Shulchan sorry, even though it's a field mouse which is served as a delicacy. Come pleitosam pogam b'chol davar. Its emissions damage anything. Except for beer and vinegar. Just like a house mouse. Everything draw a distinction in this respect. And pre-chodesh. I'm astounded, says Arukh. They have a chomer dvarim. On the contrary, should be a chomer. If the house mouse, which is repugnant, im kozeh, nevertheless, maybe its emissions are enhanced. Beer and vinegar. Koshken achbar the dabra, certainly a field mouse. All them also, which written by aristocrats. So shepleitaso yashbiel kol davar. That its emissions should make anything better. So why would be mechadesh that why be mechadesh that its play to aser is mutter? Why the play to be poking? Doesn't make any sense. Therefore, Arukh HaShulchan says he could leave Rabbeinu Beis Yosef. He says it is correct in distinguishing between achbarim and the platos and the platos. Why did they make the distinction? You know, there's generic mice which are everywhere. But also only mentions achbar the dabra offhand. As when they asked, what do you mean that a mouse is repugnant? Aristocracy eat it. But he said that's an achbar dabra. We're talking about generic achbar. Which is an urban achbar. It's not talking about in the fields. It's just like any other like birds, which are not kosher, birds and fish. So it's in Shishim. They forbid with their emissions up to 60. Brackets, he has a bunch of Torchians here. Torchin Shash Kosa B'Shash Muzal Game Gam. The Pichar Torchin and Shamarkis. If places going to be says by Sham, being according to Sham Beduka. Okay, now that was something which was going to help us. Ches. Zel Sham Ben Beis Yosef. Beis Yosef says, Akbar the Dabra, the field mouse knows in Tam Shvachu. Gives a good taste. Shalo Shulchan Lachim. Because aristocrats eat it. Akbar the Masa, sorry. Akbar the Masa, but a house mouse, urban mouse, Mesapkolon, Imashbiach B'Sheich or Chometz, or in Pokem, we don't know if it's mashbiach, even by beer and vinegar, or if it damages them. Pichach im nafal l'sheichel l'chometz, so if it fell into beer or the vinegar, b'tzonein, cold, you're still trying to move the whole. Im lo shabasochem esleis, it wasn't soaked there for 12 hours, mutzar, it's permissible. I remember I said, but it was boiling, or I feel it's or it's cold, shabasochem esleis there for 24 hours. Bench you still show him whether you moved it whole, bench nechla chatichos agos, or whether it was cut into small pieces, v'yochel sanro, and you can strain it, b'ino shlo yisher minute, but sochel klum, in a manner nothing will remain there. Ben shimach b'tocho, whether it was dissolved inside the gamre, v'naskula mashke, and all became beverage, and l'shtayim menu shua mashus, and no substances were left. Nitar, it's permitted, aidei she shishim b'hetek neged achbar. Permitted there's 60. V'im nechtach l'chat yosef is cut into small pieces, v'umin and yochel sano, he can't strain it, gon shisar v'shechel chometz v'machal of, such as where the beer or vinegar got mixed into a thick food. Hakos, everything is also ain't sham bittul. There's no notification. Because maybe you will start consuming this substance of the prohibited substance. The low yagish, and you won't know about it. I can't show. The vitamin you study mashbianu. What the base says, right? It's based on what we said. Kosher is a nikar and a bagda. As long as you can tell the issue, it's not nullified. Zesh kasi nechtav chulik gon shisar v'chuli machalav. We talk about getting mixed into a thick food. Hakol asur. Ancient bittul, everything is also no bittul. Since each small piece of the isser can be distinguished, ain't as a bittul. There is no bittul. Test because of Azarbain Rambam. The Rambam says dafkur sheretz yeshushim nishar sham shlo yichalo tzio. Only by sheretz you have to be concerned. Maybe something's left you haven't been able to remove. But b'shar yisrael and chush by the other you don't have to be concerned. Ain't lo akon sham. Cholim tafsu evdach all cholim learned. His intent is distinguished between Shwatzim where the shear is a lentil, and Shari Surim and other Surim is Shishurim Bekazais. The shear is Kazais Rabbi Dachud Varv, and many rejected that. The Yeshakim of Vark Moshe Bar, and some sustained his words that we shall see. If I need to Muhammad starts his own. You can't come in also, Loyal Omar, you can't come in also. That was what he meant to say. Loyal Omar Stam shirts. As soon as you talk about a generic shirts, or the fire shirts explicitly, Echon Mishmana Shwatzim. Or the 8 shvatzim shematayim v'chadasha, which are matame the size of lentil, bisumar dasha, and it's the size of lentil as well. Sheshai shvatzim bisumar kazayis. Other shvatzim they're kazayis, so told them morgan. Yes, it's more difficult. Shekai adivrim mechaber. He's going on the words of mechaber. Lemashil l'sham mechbar l'stam sheretz. Why do you change the language of the mechaber who's talking about a mouse to talk about sheretz? V'elo gam kain l'chtov achbar l'sham mechaber. A mouse like the language of the mechaber. She'echel mishmar shvatzim because the mouse is one of the 8 shvatzim. It's true. Hamarshim. I guess the person who wrote the notes. Tziyin, like the Maramakoyim, is in the Ra. Tziyin, the Dvar L'kuchim, Yisra, Behet Arukh Klal and Beis. That's the source. Kam Siva Dari Moshe Vio. Avagam Shom, Kasad Meyatur L'mash Makain, Viskin Div Rabbeinu Beis Yosef. It's there he doesn't seem to argue in Beis Yosef. And it's very unclear what he means there. But Nikar it's clear that something was missing. Ayin Sham they see there intently. Okay, so the bottom line is we're going to have problems with the Ramah, but that's already he's going to resolve them tomorrow.